The Nigerian parliament have been called upon not to ignore the sign language bill before the 10th National Assembly, as the bill, when passed into law, will be a relief for students, especially girls who are deaf. The call was made at the 2025 International Day of the Girl Child, organized by the Women's Section of Nigerian National Association of the Deaf in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. National Women Leader for Nigerian National Association of the Deaf, Monsurat Fasasi, while welcoming students from different secondary schools in Abuja, said the event is to celebrate most girls who are deaf and to encourage them not to give up their life ambitions and dreams.
Celebrate our own deaf children, our own deaf girls, because deaf girls are not carried along due to sign language, due to lack of sign language, due to communication barrier. So we wanted to encourage them by celebrating them to improve their livelihood, to improve their access to education, and also to help amplify their voice, and also to be the change that they want to see, and also to train them, and also to motivate them to be whatever they want to be in the future, and also to enable them contribute their quota in Nigerian society. Deaf children have challenges in the area of education. We want to encourage parents of deaf children to use what we call early childhood intervention. So once you discover that your child is a deaf, you take that child to a deaf school. Because when you take your deaf child to school when it's already late, they will not acquire the knowledge that they're supposed to.
Other stakeholders say learning material should be inclusive for all students. They, however, made emphasis for sign language.
Need for collaboration for us to talk about the rights of deaf girls, deaf children, to promote their sustainable development goals, and also to be in line with the UNCRPD and the laws in Nigeria. So it creates net effort for us to continue to part of the Agile project under the Federal Ministry of Education, which says that deaf schools need also to be warm, accessible, having better hygiene, and other things that will ensure that deaf children have access to education in a very dignified manner. So we are working and continue to support the government on that, and also to bring deaf girls to come out, and those who are out of school to return to school across the 774 local governments in the country. We are expecting the government to look for sign language interpreters when it comes to announcement of election declaration. It's not just from calling interpreters to interpret at election levels alone. We need to start from the basic level, get to the school, recognize sign language across board. So with that, deaf persons across board will have access to election and whatever details comes from there. So when these barriers are removed, we truly feel equal. Yes, we are equal before the law, but however, we have some challenges with limit deaf persons and making it seem that we are not age, because sign language is the language of the deaf and our means of communication. Sign language is what we use to express, amplify our voices and ourselves. So sometimes having international measurements and instruments around the world, when we talk about Nigerian federal government, yes, we have the Disability Rights Act. Even in the act, there are some limitations like recommendations for Braille, sign language. But when sign language becomes an official language for the deaf recognized, it means that both at hospitals, different public spaces, sign language use will be in those places. So even the justice system, when a deaf person wants to report a case of victimization, rape, or whatever, he can easily have access to such services in sign language in a convincing way. So without having any challenges related to communication. So that's the beauty of that bill. Sign language is supposed to be included in the curriculum, because the Nigerian government not having recognized sign language it means that we cannot achieve, our dreams, both in religious spaces, different sectors.
Some of the students expressed their joy as they are being celebrated. Gift items were also presented to the girls. Emmanuel Onu, News 24.